Now, as millions wait for the official confirmation of the records, Chef Hilda Baci hopes her bold step will tell some of the positive stories that come from Africa through the meals that she made, and not just breaking the record. Now, when she turned on the cooker at 4 p.m. on Thursday, May 11, on the highbrow Lekki area of Lagos State, there was only one thing on Hilda Baci's mind, which was to break the world record in the cooking marathon. And at the time, she didn't just break it, she shattered it, and she set her own record that so many other people are now either hoping or currently trying to break, like we see of a Lebanese young chef who says that he will break Hilda's record in about 5 days. That's over 100 hours. Good luck to him. That said, joining me on this conversation today, I have the honor of introducing Shama Goddess, a writer and content creator from Lagos, Nigeria. Shama, thank you so much for joining us. Shama, could you please unmute your device?
It feels good to be here.
It's good to have you join us. Thank you so much. Also, we have Oluwafunmilayo Shofoyeke, Sodiya, an author, Clothier, United Kingdom. Thank you, Funmilayo, for joining us.
Good afternoon. Thank you too.
Good afternoon. And last but not the least, we have Temitope Olukunle, a global talent consultant, also in Nigeria. Thank you so much, Temitope, for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
It's a pleasure. Now, we are celebrating a win of one of our own. And like they say, a win for one is a win for all. And I'm talking about Hilda Baci. Now, I would like to know what your individual experiences were. I know that maybe probably not all of us were able to go there, but I mean, we saw the buzz on social media. It was everywhere. I mean, the videos, the pictures, emotional moments and all. For me, it was a roller coaster. Like I said earlier, I cried, I laughed, I was scared at some point. Even my feet began to ache. I wasn't the one standing, but I was feeling the pain on her behalf. So I'd like to ask what your individual experiences were at the time. Shama, I'll start with you.
I think I came across it on my social media when I woke up to work, and for me, I didn't cry. I was supportive all the way because there was a time when I used to cook, and I used to cook. I cooked
really?
for a restaurant once. I did.
Why did you stop though?
I did like 20 hours, and I was like, yeah, I'm setting the record. And then there's this girl that wants to do 100 hours. So I was excited all the way. Like whether she made it, whether she got 100 hours or not, I just really felt that, okay, this is somebody who is cooking and, making something. We were on the map. I think we're on Twitter Twitter trending for like 5 days worldwide. Yeah.
And that's huge. That's really huge. But anyways, yeah, thank you, Shama, for that. Oluwafunmilayo, how about you? What was your experience like?
Yeah, I got to see her on Instagram the most, and it was fun, trust me, getting to see a female do all of that. And she just wanted to eat the goal. She was really tired. It was evident she was weak, and she just wanted to do it, meaning that regardless of whatever you face, just go for it. It was really determined. It was evident she was determined, and she got it right. I'm happy. I'm really happy.
Aren't we all? All right, Temitope, what was your own experience like?
Incredible moment for everybody in Nigeria, for African youth, and I think for every woman all over the world, because what I saw was a woman who decided to unmute her mic. Looking back to the history of Hilda Baci, we have to see that there's been some sort of track record. So this is not the first attempt at competitions. She's been hosting a lot of shows. She's won several other competitions. So I love the fact that a woman decided to say, you know what, I can do this. And then she rallied around collaborations, partnerships, and she was able to pull this through. So for me, it was a moment of inspiration. And there are two things we do when we see people doing great feat like that. You're either inspired or you are intimidated. The choice is yours, because if you think you can, you are right. If you think you can't, you are also right. I think I'll leave it at that for now. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for that, Temitope. I really do like the fact that you tagged it on muting her mic. I mean, that's an angle that I never saw it from. And then truly, what happened would either inspire some people or intimidate some. Thank you all for that contribution. Now, I would also like for us to talk about this from another angle. Now, Hilda has become a household name just because she took the bold step and she has obviously become a sensation. So what are the lessons? I mean, of course, I asked what your experiences were, but this time I would like to know what lessons you picked from this whole thing. I would say that mine was the fact that it just made me realize that success is not just like magnet. Success is actually magnet in the sense that once you start doing something, people would trooping to see you do it. And someone always says this to me, that people tend to want to help people that looks like they can do it or they can become successful without their help. So in that sense, I'm trying to say that when people see that this girl is headed somewhere or this guy is headed somewhere, they will want to put in their, the little inputs so that they can say, I was part of that success story. So I'd like to know what your own lessons were from this whole cookathon by Hilda Bassey.
Okay. Let me just go first. Oh, okay. So success, yes, people associate with success. For me, I learned about preparation because she prepared. I don't think cooking for 100 hours is something that you just wake up in the morning and you don't strategize. She must have prepared, must have planned the dishes. Of course, I'm talking from a cook's perspective. Probably maybe do moi here and then maybe like in the next 10 hours do indomie and that kind of thing. Conserve your energy. It was planned. And then she had a lot of people around her. Most of the clips I saw people massaging her shoulders. There was this guy that even got popular for her sous chef. I think
Yeah,
was his name.
Chef Sonny.
Yeah. Everyone was like, oh my God, get you a man to support you like that. So that supportive community and preparation, they are like tools you need in your arsenal in life for anything that you're going to be doing. So yeah, build that community, make that preparation and let people help because she got that help. She didn't just try to say, oh, people were actually came to actually like help her do stuff. So yeah.
Very true. Very true. Oluwafunmilayo, how about you?
Yeah, I learned perseverance. For me, I saw a tired face. I saw a weak person. She got really weak. I think she had menstrual cramps in between, and she just kept pushing regardless. Meaning that even in
Shama said, "Oh,
Yeah.
I'm sure a lot of people didn't know about that."
Yeah, she had menstrual cramps and she was still moving. You know when menstrual cramps eat you, you know what it means. And for you to still be on your feet cooking, meaning she was really determined. She just wanted to eat it. I love the fact that a young lady knows what she really wants. It was so happy that she knows what she wanted. And one way or the other, it has motivated me that, okay, you know what, for me, even if you're tired, even if life gets at you, just keep moving. So that's it. That's one major lesson I learned.
Very true. You know, before I go to Temitope, I remember that what Funmilayo just said is what was trending at some point, where a lot of people started saying things like, look at me making noodles in the kitchen and I was about to sit down when I remembered somebody has been cooking for 80-something hours and I'm here being tired. It didn't even happen to me because I woke up one morning and I wanted to do my usual workouts and I just felt really fagged. And I just packed my stuff to some, in some corner and I was about to go take a shower and I realized, oh my wait, somebody is cooking, no, and you can't even do your workout, like 30 minutes workout. And I just took myself, I'm like, I'm motivated, let me heal that it, So yeah, I really do agree with that. Temitope, what about you? What was your lesson?
Awesome. So I think that all of the lessons that have been shared are really powerful. And so if I'm going to come from another angle, I would say, Deborah Williams said something on Instagram that the currency of our generation is talent. So I also think that Hilda, among many other things that she showcased, decided to showcase our talent. And for you listening to us, or for me, mine might not be in cooking. So I am not under any pressure to get into the kitchen to try to break a record to cook for 4 days. That is not what I'm about. But for me, I've learned that I have to find mine. I have to be confident in my own unique skills. And so if she can do it, of course, somebody did it in 2019. Don't forget, and she was inspired by what Chef Tata did. And so I am inspired by what she has done, but it doesn't have to be in cooking. So for me, one of the major lessons is to discover what I am good at as well, that I can stand up to say, you know what, I'm going to stick with this till it works, right? No matter how long it takes, no matter how many rejections that I get. Because I'm sure when she started, she reached out to a lot of people. I'm sure she got a lot of rejections. I'm sure people were like, Madam, are you sure this thing is going to work? But the consistency, the capacities to stay through, to say, this thing, I believe in it. and I'm going to work on it till it works. I think for me, that is really, really major. That is really, really major, especially something that you don't see around. It's not something you've seen Nigeria do. But now you'll be shocked. In the next 12 weeks, because it takes 12 weeks for the Guinness World Record to give an approval, you'll be shocked how many Nigerians will stand up to begin to break different records now. And I'm looking forward to it. Really, really looking forward to it.
Very true.
Thank you.
Very true. I mean, this new generation would say we're here for it. But anyways, I think it also reminds me of one meme that was trending at the time. The truth is, Nigerians, I mean, you would agree with me that most of the time, the food you find in every household is either rice or beans or gari or something. And then people started saying things like, wait, Hilda has cooked 100 plus different food. That means that there is more food than rice. Why have I been eating rice my whole life? So I think that's another angle that a lot of people didn't see. The fact that she took her time to plan different meals, not just the regular meals she eats, different, local dishes that probably would have attracted a lot of international attention, because we're not the only ones wondering now. A lot of people outside Nigeria will be wondering, so these people have so much food, so much delicacy. And I'm sure that if there was ample time, some people would probably have traveled down to even taste or even see the variety of food that we have. So that's another beautiful thing that I took from there. But anyways, before we continue, I'd like for us to go out and see what the youths had to say about Hilda's feat that she just conquered, and how they have been inspired about it. It's a youth show, so we want to hear from the youths themselves.
So peer pressure is usually used when people talk about behaviors that are not acceptable or desirable, although there are positive peer pressures in some cases. However, in the world today, especially the social media world, we get to see celebrities and so-called influencers putting up a perfect life in quotes and getting to live a life which is not even their reality. And they have fans. Sad thing is, they have fans. They have people that are looking up to them and wanting to take a cue from their lifestyle. And the sad thing is, when these people, when their fans can't meet up to that standard, we now get to hear funny things like, oh, depression, mental health issues, which is basically not doing any good, which is of more harm.
The faster you run, the hotter it is on your heels. Peer pressure chases you all the way down. It chases you till you face it. Everywhere you turn, you see a lot of things happening. You see your friends doing things that you are afraid of doing. But because they do it, and a lot of people respect them for doing that, for being tough, you feel it's part of the cool culture. Sometimes it's something extremely dangerous, borderline dangerous. You take those things up. But then your fates may be different. It's maybe that one moment you do it that things will go awry and you don't ever recover from it. There are lots of people landed in jail today because of peer pressure. It's something to run away from when it's negative.
One of the problems facing the African society has been peer pressure among the youth. A lot of African youth involved in bad things, atrocities, negativity, just because that is what people around them, their folks, their friends, their colleagues, they do. They pay little or no attention to the consequences and aftermath of this act, in as much as that is what they see people around them do. They do it too. And mind you, the aftermath and consequences could be as bad as anxiety, depression, or sometimes suicide, but they don't care. They will do it just because that is what people around them are doing too. And a lot of people do not even know when to put a line between social media and real life. Social media is just a dreamy life. It is not real. And social media has painted a particular narrative in the mind of people that people want to fit into that narrative so bad. They could go to any length and any extent just to fit into that narrative, living out their reality just because of social media paparazzi.
I think peer pressure is something that we go through almost every day of our lives. I think it's very, very present on social media and how we think and how we do things. We are more or less likely to do things that our peers are doing. My peers are going to clubs. I want to go to clubs too. My peers are buying the latest phones. Even though I can't afford it, I'm going to try and find a way to get that money. My friends are buying cars and they are doing things that I can't do right now, but because I want to feel among, people do things that they're not supposed to do at times that they're not meant to do it. And I think social media is a huge it's a huge influence on this. I mean, you log into Twitter every day and you see discourses like 500,000 naira is too small for a month, or 10k is too small for sending it to someone, and you think about it and you're like, I probably don't even earn as much as this, but because I want to feel among, you join these discussions and then you start to have this weird notion in your head that you are not doing as much as you should be doing, and that you should be doing more.
Well, I mean, obviously, it's no doubt that Hilda's new feat or new achievement has brought about that topic again of peer pressure, where we try to compare, okay, is there good pressure? Is there bad pressure? Is there influence? Especially on social media these days, where we see the youths motivated and gullible to any and everything, right? So that is why we're talking about peer pressure in that sphere. And we're trying to look at Hilda's achievement as our case study. Now, it is no doubt that Hilda again brought Nigerians together as a united force. And I would like for us, I mean, I still have my guests with me. I have Shama, I have Oluwafunmilayo, and of course I have Temitope, and they have been fantastic so far. So I would like for us to compare this new achievement, this new, I would say that Hilda has brought another kind of attention, another kind of, another area where the youths can focus their attention to limelight. You see how youths came out en masse to celebrate Hilda, to just, even people who have never met her before, people who never knew her before came out. And I'd like for us to compare this to a lot of the reality shows, I'm not mentioning names, that we see on air today that pulls as much crowd and attention. You know, before Hilda did what she did, a lot of people wouldn't have thought that kind of, just deciding to cook can attract so much attention, can unite people as much. But now we're seeing that, okay, you don't exactly have to be naked or, show yourself in a different light in a reality show to get as much attention and to get maybe as much endorsement. So I would like to get your own opinions on that. I'll start with Shama. What do you think?
Yeah, definitely. You don't have to, get naked, as you said, because I think when you said that, my head was actually like, of course, there's a lot to say about it. So starting with, there's definitely a lot of pressure because you're looking at the youth, they're at the stage where they're looking for themselves. They're trying to find out, okay, I've spent time here, what am I about? None of that. We all go through that, in life, but as a youth, you're at that stage. And the first thing you look at the biggest thing in the room. You look at the idols that you have. So, of course, and those idols, physically, they're exerting some sort of visual pressure. I don't know if we go down to physics. And you would like to emulate the parts of them that you think are cool, that will make you more accepted or make you feel good about yourself. And, that's where all of this peer pressure comes from. So, when in a society, when you have your big idols, they are, doing the things that they are doing, you tend to see the people down there who are still trying to find themselves, trying to find what they're about, emulating this. So when you go down to reality shows and you're looking at maybe those ones that maybe do not have like the kind of family values that maybe society would like, you now see the society sort of breaking down. But when you have people like Hilda, who, with the fact that before now, I think I saw a tweet that said before now, she was just a normal chef. And now she's actually now a Guinness World level chef. So you now have cooks like, okay, so this is my cooking thing now. I now feel pressure to think about it a different way. I don't have to stay in the kitchen. I could actually probably go out and get sponsorship. So I would say hers is a very, very good kind of pressure. I mean, speaking personally for myself, I actually now want to extend my cooking time now somewhere. And that's just me. Now I can imagine people who are younger than me, who are younger than I am rather, feeling this pressure to do some good. So I would say it's kind of timely, it's perfect, especially at this time of our nation where our youths are waking up.
Okay, fantastic. Now, Oluwafunmilayo, I would like for us to also look at this from another angle. Shama has just mentioned that what Hilda did, of course, is good pressure. I mean, there's no debating that. But there's now a possibility. It's obvious that youth are stirred up by Hilda's passion, what she did, and a lot of people are now trying to find their niche and see what they can do, to break the record. Probably not the Guinness record, but at least maybe to break their own record, to set their own pace and all. But the conversation now is, would this kind of pressure not now birth a premature, premature attention to what you can do, or let's say premature kind of passion, in the sense that that you're good at this, that there's something that you're wired to do, but you don't have that much know-how to carry it out, or you don't have the resources put together, or you're not ready in some sense. But because you've seen that Hilda has done this, it's easy to just toss out the fact that Hilda prepared for this for 5 years. That's one conversation that people are trivializing. So a lot of people wouldn't see that the preparation that goes into it. They just feel like she just woke up one day and decided to do this. That means I can do it. And so there's this premature interest in what you can do, which can eventually be destroyed if you try to carry it out too early. So I would like to get your thoughts on that, Funmilayo.
Okay, so for me, I feel like if you nurse a particular thing, you want to carry out something, you should prepare properly. You shouldn't just jump into it because somebody has done it, definitely I can do it. I don't think it works like that. The fact that Hilda did it, she did 100 hours, you really don't, just the way you mentioned, you really don't know what went behind the scenes. You don't know the number of times she fell. You don't know, when I say fell, like the downtime she had during a training period or the process she had to go through. So you sit Hilda down and ask her what she went through, and you're willing to go through it. So you can't just want to have gold without going through fire. I hope you understand. So I strongly feel that if you are nursing an ambition, you should sit yourself down, ask yourself basic questions. Are you ready to go through the ups and the downs? Are you willing to pay the price? If you're not willing to pay the price, if you want to jump process to get something done, I don't think you would get it the way you want to. Take, for instance, you intend to get to a particular height and you don't want to use a ladder. You just want to jump to the height. It doesn't work like that. You have to either crawl or you have to use a ladder or something, or a rope before you get to the height. So what the process of climbing, the process of climbing itself is what you have to master. So when you master it, it becomes easier for you. So I don't think it's ideal for anyone to say, because somebody has done it, definitely I can do it, then you jump into it. You definitely ruin the whole thing and you won't come out well as desired.
Very well said. Thank you for that. Temitope, I would also like to know your thoughts about this. Now, like they say, when you set yourself on fire with passion, the world will come and watch you burn. Now, a lot of people have skills that, honestly, they feel like these skills, I wouldn't say are useless per se, but they feel like these skills are not something that can announce me big, right? Let's take cooking, for example. To be honest, who would have thought that maybe the chefs we have, probably I would have asked Shama this question, so I'm coming back to you, Shama. But in a case where you've been cooking for a while and people are like, make this large now and take it up on a larger scale. And the only thing you can think of is maybe opening a shop or something. But I feel like your passion will further heighten it in the sense that your passion will start thinking of every creative means to announce yourself. And in the case of Hilda, I think that's what happened. She didn't just, obviously she has her own restaurant. I don't know if anybody has visited that. I think it's called My Food by Hilda. She has that, but she refused to stop at that. And then she wanted to take it a notch higher to get herself more recognition, to make herself, to put herself on a global map. I feel like that's what passion does, in the sense that you take the most trivial or seemingly trivial of gifts, and your creativity and passion will push it in the sense that it becomes something global. And people that have that same skill will be thinking, I never saw this in that light. So I would like to get Temitope's opinion on that.
Awesome, thank you. And I think you've really shared the breakdown of the question that you asked me. I don't think that there are passions or skills, because I'm in the talent space, right? And we've seen people with different skills and capacity. And it would interest you to know that no matter how little the skill is, no matter how trivialized a skill is, you'll be shocked that these things are of value, especially when it comes to global workspace and the borderless space, because I am a borderless and a global talent consultant. So I see things a lot that are not really valued in Nigeria. For example, there are roles that are being paid maybe 3 figures or in dollars or maybe 6 figures in naira. And by the time we export that same talent into the international space, they're coming back with 6 figures in dollars, right? So I think first, exposure matters. If you've not seen that something has happened before, sometimes human mind tends to be limited by what you see. And in the case of Hilda, we've said it over and over again. She had seen someone do this thing 5 years ago, and she was inspired. And that was why I said at the beginning, you are either intimidated or you are inspired. At first, a lot of us women were intimidated when she started, because in my mind, I'm like, I can't even stand in the kitchen for 5 hours. What is going on? What are you trying to do, madam? You know, but eventually you make of it what you want to make of it. And right now, Hilda is who she thinks she is. So whatever you have, just like you said, the passion that you have, the talent that you have, we've been innovating for a long time. There's a concept, which is even the name of my company. I call it outnovation. Innovation is thinking outside of the box, but outnovation is thinking like there is no box.
Wow.
Meaning this thing that I
That's a new one.
Absolutely. You know, I had to go ahead to even register a company in that name because it's so powerful. It's like a revelation for me. This little that I have, how can I make it different? How can I make it unique? How can I, take it up to the next level? So that's how I think every talented person should begin to think about what they have and what they are doing. That's what I think.
Wow, very well said. That is really innovative. But let me quickly ask Shama, did it ever cross your mind to break the world record with cooking? Did it ever cross your mind at any point in time?
No, not at all. I looked at those hours and I was like, yeah, I'll just cook at home and make the food sweet.
But now, does it cross your mind?
Yes, I was discussing with my sister. I was like, what if I did 120 hours? I mean, I've done restaurant food before. It crosses my mind every time I hear Hilda and everything. But I think sometimes not on that scale.
Yeah.
Because we cannot break Guinness World Records. But
exactly.
Then there is a community. You could actually just go out and just say, okay, for 5 hours as a chef, I am cooking, and anyone that is starting to come and eat. Now, I think I do marketing too. Now, that is already like some sort of brand awareness. That is even going to expose you. That is even going to get you customers. I think while I was cooking at one time, I and my friends, we got together, and every Valentine's Day we'll do like this sort of small restaurant thing. Until date, like 5 years later, now people are like, hey, you're that guy that used to cook at the restaurant. And I'm like, hey, thank you. So now that's not a Guinness World Record, but then I've sort of made a mark. So it's by skill. Just think of different things. It's cooking. Once somebody sees you cooking, I mean, that is already even like awareness. So from there, you can just build up and do anything.
Yeah. Well, I think it's very important what Shama just said, that we can't all break the Guinness World Record. The truth is, I know that a lot of chefs right now will be considering it. But why not look at it from this angle? I mean, right now, it's still humanly possible, but a time will come where someone will break Hilda's record. Probably she might even break her own record. Someone else breaks the record, until I get into like maybe 500 hours, and it's now becoming physically impossible for someone to break that record. So what would you do? So at the end of the day, it's not just about breaking the Guinness World Record. It's about setting your own pace, right? Breaking your own record. And by that, I mean doing what you did today better tomorrow. And just like Shama said, your own exposure might not come from the Guinness World Record. It might just come from maybe an international recognition, an international event where they want you to do that and all. And it's not just for chefs, it's for every occupation, every and anything. No gift is too trivial, no gift is too small. Now I'm beginning to sound like a motivational speaker. Anyways, I'll just stop it there. But it's time for us to go on a quick break. And when we come back, we'll be taking reactions from social media on this same very important discourse. Do stay with us. Many thanks for staying with us. We have been talking about peer pressure, the good pressure, the bad pressure, right here in Fafanua, Africa. And we have been using our very own Hilda Bassey's win as our case study. I still have my guests with me. I have Shama, I still have Oluwafunmilayo, and of course, Temitope. Thank you so much for being amazing guests on the show. Now, moving forward, let's still talk about Hilda Bassey's win, because I mean, we can't get tired of talking about it. Now, cheered on by people who love her, Hilda was able to push through. And I think Temitope mentioned that, you know, when she said surrounding yourself with people that care about you. And I think Shama also mentioned that. Now, I would like to ask, and I'm asking Funmilayo this, what does this say about the kind of people that we surround ourselves with? Because, I mean, looking at the videos, looking back now, there was a certain time, I'm sure a lot of people didn't see this part, but some people inside the booth with her at the time, I think when she was getting to 87 hours, or I think 85 hours. Now, they always say that the end part is usually the hardest, and we could literally see Hilda struggling. In fact, at some point she literally said it, I think like 3 times, that she was done, she wasn't doing anymore. But because of the people that were with her, they kept shouting her name. At some point they were even saying, Hilda, don't just stand, stare something, please stare something. They were begging and shouting and trying to, in fact, someone stood up and was praying, you know, at the background. So that says a lot about the kind of person that she surrounded herself with. So what lesson can we learn from that?
Okay, so I feel the major lesson is your circle should have the same positive energy as you have. If your circle isn't giving you the type of vibe you really want, it's way better you excuse them, because they can't support you when you need them. It's evident that Hilda got the type of support she wanted. Towards the end, I heard some people saying what Hilda cannot do does not exist. So that's something really powerful. She's not good, but just a way to motivate her to do better. It's only a good friend that will do that. Someone who does not want the good for you will never mention that. So it's very key in one's life to have a very good circle. A good circle will push you. That's a form of positive peer pressure. Will push you to do better. Will push you to go beyond your limits. If you feel you can do 50, a good circle or a good set of people will push you to do 55. After doing 55, they push you to do 60. I think it was because of her friends, the type of motivation she had, she could do 100. I think she wanted to do 96. And before we knew it, she did 100. And that's something huge, trust me. Nothing beats good friendship. Nothing beats good energy. Nothing beats positive energy from people who truly love you. Yeah.
I mean, really, most times supporting people is not just about sending them money. Your physical presence, your words of encouragement, like you said, nothing really beats good friendship. But anyways, Shama, now on every journey, you probably get more no's than yes. And I know that Temitope also mentioned that she probably got no's. And they said it, her manager said it, that it was the same case for Hilda, because though she got a lot of sponsors for this historic event, some brands she had actually reached out to turned her down. Of course, we're not mentioning names, but the manager mentioned that they reached out to a lot of brands, you know, tried to sell the idea, and a lot of them didn't see how it was possible to do that. So in that case, it turned her down. So what does this say about rejection?
I think borrowing from like a very popular quote, you will say, the only time you fail is when you stop. So rejection is not the end of life. Think about it this way. I think we are now 8 billion finally in the world. Yay! And you can't tell me that out of those 8 billion, 100 rejections are going to stop you. Come on. Let's talk about it. Okay, we know a field that used 5 years. And out of those 5 years, I can't imagine the amount of rejections. Even if you've looked for a job before you landed your dream job, you have. People send out hundreds of things. So rejection is just, rejection is just like the air moving. Put it that way. Rejection is just like the air moving. One day, I mean, the air is going to finally find the place it's going to enter. I know this is a very bad analogy you get, but just treat rejection as the air moving. It's nothing. It doesn't speak about, oh, that I'm a bad person. It doesn't speak about your skills. It's not necessarily a reflection of that. It's just that this way is not working. And then, luckily, as you give back to more people, you are getting probably 9 billion more ways for somebody stuff to work. So yeah.
Right. Very true. Very rightly said. I think I'm surrounded by motivational speakers today, and it's good. It's good to see that. Well, now it's time for us to see some reactions on social media to see what the Twips are saying about Hilda Bassey's win and how that connects to peer pressure, good or bad. Let's take a look. Now, someone says, if peer pressure always worked and you were hyper aware of being manipulated but couldn't stop it, you might be autistic, masking with a fun trauma response. A lot of English. Now, MC Lovin says, if you can be peer pressured, you damn near deserve what comes with it. Okay. Now, Nora says, once I heard someone say traditions are peer pressure from dead people, I felt even more encouraged to find and follow my own path, which is very important, by the way. Now, Ife, the diary of a Niger girl, says, everyone has their path. We must understand this, or we will forever waste our time trying to switch to the lanes that will never lead us home. Peer pressure is real. When faced with a decision, give yourself some time to figure out what feels right to you and only you, in capital letter. Well, I mean, they have said it all. And of course, we're going to be discussing that. We're not near done yet. We'll be talking about the peer pressure and all. And that leads me to my next question, Temitope. Now, if there is anything that I have learned from success is that success is a magnet. It's not like a magnet, like I said earlier. And the whole essence of Hilda Bassey's win and us discussing it now is to try and show the youth that they also have their own path to follow. Just like the last person says, Ife says that when you're faced with certain decisions, when you're not just decisions per se, when you see, because trust me, online now, when you're scrolling, especially on LinkedIn, right? When you won't scroll like up to 3 times before you see someone, oh, I'm finally working with, just mentions one big company, and everybody's wondering, how are these people working in these big companies? What am I doing with my life? So it's absolutely normal that you see those things on a daily basis. But the question remains, how do you react to this? What decisions do you make out of it? Again, linking it to what Temitope said about whether or not you're inspired or intimidated. And then talking about pressure, some people see this and will probably drop whatever they're doing. And this is related to what Ife just said. That's the last person who tweeted. They will see Hilda's win now and probably, maybe, let's say they were singers before or fashion designers or something. And then they'll probably drop what they were doing before and, you know, thinking that cooking is the next big thing. And now go and take up a lesson entirely different from what they can do. Take up a lesson in cooking, you know, culinary classes and all of that, just because they want to learn how to cook so that they can now think of beating a record. Is that not a step backward? Funmilayo, what do you think?
From the tweet, Ife's tweet, find your home path, really. It's really key. You can't keep pissing towards or keep jumping from one pole to another in the bid to be out there or in a bid to be out there. If writing is your thing, stick to it. It might be very hard getting to that break point, but truth be told is, you work on yourself, do the needful, but stick to the path. People will definitely come looking for you one day. Compared to, I do writing today, tomorrow I do tailoring, next tomorrow I'm cooking. Then if anybody walks up to you, then what are you doing with your life? You don't even have something to say because you're all over the place. It's just like jack of all trades, master of none. You know nothing. If you do that, trust me, you will be empty at the long run because you didn't enact so much energy in what you really like, what you really want, or the path you feel you should have chosen. If, for instance, you're supposed to choose journalism, and you feel because, oh, a school friend of mine is into tech, and the person is doing beautifully well, let me just jump into tech then and see if I'll do well. So you do it for 2 hours and I have a headache. You jump back to your journalism. You are not doing it right. Just like that. Before you know it, you'll be outside journalism because you are not keeping track with it. The tech you want to jump into, you don't know anything about it. And boom, you're a failure. I just feel the best you can do is stick to your path. One day, the good will come looking for you.
I don't think we can emphasize this enough. You need to stick to your own path. It might be tempting, and sometimes, well, this is my next question, because a lot of times we see on social media, for example, it's like a wave of trending things, right? Today is tech that is trending. Tomorrow it's, let's say, forex trading. Next tomorrow it's, fashion designers. And there's a way the algorithm works that it's like you keep seeing the same thing over and over again. And then you're thinking, is this God trying to tell me to leave what I'm doing and go and learn tech? Because you see things, you see adverts, you see people come up and say, oh, tech is the new this, innovation this, women in tech, this. We're celebrating the Day of Women in Tech. This is to motivate. And then it's not like people are now trying to motivate those who are already in tech. It's like people are now trying to tell you that tech is the best thing you should be doing right now. That tech is just, a ballpark estimate. But I'm just saying that a lot of times you see some things on social media and it's like, are you sure what I'm doing is even the right thing? I mean, this looks like what is bringing money. And just like Oluwafunmilayo said, when you dabble into this, do that, at the end of the day, you're a failure. So my next question now, and I'm going to ask Shama this, can we say that social media is solely responsible for the hook, line, and sinker approach with which the youth of these days approach or follow their passion? And by hook, line, and sinker, I mean, you see that, okay, this person is doing this and it seems to be bringing money, or these people are advertising this and it seems to be the new gold, content creation. Oh my God, that is even a thing these days. I think I'm asking the right person, because Shama, you're a content creator. A lot of people now want to be content creators. The GRWM videos, the OOTD videos, oh, by the way, it means get ready with me and outfit of the day. People just see that, okay, this person just has a camera and a phone and has different outfits and a fine background. I think I can do this. They don't see the planning, the strategizing, the creativity that goes into that simple OOTD that you think you can do. And then because of that, you now leave your job. In fact, some people are in the office and then they're planning their next OOTD. And before you know, they get distracted from what they should be doing. And then sometimes, small likes, you get 100 likes, 200 likes. Okay, I think I can push this. And before you know, I'll start getting brand adverts, not realizing that not everybody can do that. Not everybody is patient enough to push their followers to that much numbers till they start getting brand adverts and all. So Shama, what do you think about the whole line, hook, and sinker approach? Unfortunately, I think Shama's network is frozen. I'm hoping that we can still get him back very soon. But okay, Shama, are you there?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right, so that's a lot. Like shaking my table a lot. Okay, so I think the first question I'll go with is social media responsible? Well, social media is not as responsible as much as weed is responsible for, would I say, blowing something somewhere. On social media, what happens is that I think it happens in waves, especially when it comes to our world. I would like to go back in time. There was a time when it was the Nigerian writers that were trending on social media, and people rode that wave to stardom. Some people tried to ride it, but it wasn't their time. And then another thing came, and then people still rode that wave to stardom. So social media definitely comes in waves because of the things that we do and all of that. And if the wave comes and let's say you are sort of prepared, you'll be able, with all your network and everything, be able to ride that wave there. You understand? But if you're not prepared, you'll not be able to ride it. But social media and the trend would definitely push you if you're sort of like not rooted in whatever you're doing. That's another thing, because there's, okay, I'm focusing on what I like, and then there's now my own personal goals. The need for money is real. But then, as much as you are looking for money, there's also something that makes you happy. And life, most of the time, it is, you'll be much more stable if you can balance, that need for how to survive, and then that need to be happy, feed body and soul and everything. So if you are very conscious of what really makes you alive, what makes you a person, it could be writing, maybe it wouldn't be just taking care of people. And then you can sort of like balance that with, what helps you earn, what helps you sustenance. It would help. And I think that is what you...
Right. Okay. All right. Thank you, Shama, for that. Now, quickly, Temitope, in very few seconds, what do you think about the whole line, hook, and sinker approach?
So I also think, just like Shama said, it's a wave. It comes in seasons. Sometimes it's Bitcoin. Now it's about pivoting into tech. And a lot of times people just think with hope they can get things done. And I like to say that hope is not a strategy. just because you see someone making it right now, you don't know their track record. The Hilda that we are celebrating today, I mean, you need to go back to when she started. She didn't jump off to get there. So are you willing to let go of the years you've committed into what you're building, except you have a clarity that this path I'm on is the wrong path for me? But jettisoning the years and the track record that you have to start building in another place, just understand that you're also going to spend that long time in building that. And one thing that I also wanted to mention just as I wrap up is understanding also that collaboration is the new competition. And so because these days, a lot of people do these things out of competition. You know, somebody is doing it, is working, so you want to try it. And it's also traditional. It's not just digital. Traditional sense, somebody opens a store here today in your streets. In the next few months, you also see somebody with a provision store, just like that across. So this thing is traditional. And then we brought it to the digital world. So people just really understanding that, see, we're no longer competing. If you're still competing, you are the only one there. We're now collaborating for the future. I think I'll just leave it at that for now. Thank you.
Punchline. Collaboration is a new competition. I think that, in fact, if I drop my pen right now and everybody just goes home, we're good. Thank you so much for that, Temitope. And on this note, I really want to appreciate all my guests, Shama, Oluwafunmilayo, and Temitope. You have all been amazing. And if anything, you have just enlightened us and, you know, heightened the fact that Hilda's case should motivate somebody, but not to follow exactly her path, but find your own path and follow. Thank you so much for being amazing guests. Hoping to have you again on my show. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much. It was
It's a
fun.
pleasure. Well, now in Hilda's case, we can say that she was able to follow her dreams today because some persons did some years ago and they set the pace. Sir Hugh Beaver, for example, in the 1950s, he taught his wives to document people's successes so that in years' time, these records can be kept and referenced. Fast forward to 2019, Lata Tondon set the pace by breaking the record for the longest cooking marathon that had been broken by someone else before her. And all of that gave Hilda Baci the dream as well. I said all that to say this: we don't all have to be Hildas. Some people can be the Sir Hughes of this generation. Some people can be the Lata Tondons of this generation. And some people can even be the Chef Sonny who stood by Hilda and gave her all the support that she needed in a way that no one else could ever do. Our dreams differ, and with our different passion and goals, we can birth something unique. So find your path and light it up with passion. I rest my case. Well, it's been an amazing 1 hour packed program, and thanks to all our guests for making that possible. Join us again next week for another interesting and enlightening episode of Fafanua Africa. Till then, I remain your delectable host. Blessings. Have a lovely day.